Monkey.
Some of your 135 contemporaries have a lot to say these days. Shakur Stevenson, well, of course, he's now 135 after all that stuff, and then Devin Haney.
Right. So why people even talk like he the best at? He didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126. I mean 126, 30 or none of that.
He is good.
Okay. How can you? All that's just okay. How can you stop people that can actually hit? No matter all that boxing, you going to get hit. What you going?
Well, there you heard it, guys. Gervonta Tank Davis, very unimpressed with Shakur Stevenson's power. Saying that he had no pop at 126 and 130. How is he going to react when he gets hit by the top guys at the 135-pound division? Well, bad news, Gervonta Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson has the best defense in all of boxing, and you do not need to be a big puncher in order to be a successful boxer. Look at your old pal Floyd Mayweather. He wasn't particularly a big puncher, was he, at 147 pounds? But he had the skills to pay the bills. I've said it time and time again that Shakur Stevenson's distance, his timing, his footwork is tremendous. I haven't seen someone who is that skilled in a very long amount of time, probably since Floyd Mayweather, in his prime. And I just believe that if Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson were to fight, that Shakur would take away Tank's strengths, which is his power, and make Tank fight a very technical fight. Floyd Mayweather was in a relatively competitive fight against Rolly Romero up until the knockout. Now, did I say Floyd Mayweather? Sorry, I meant Gervonta Davis, guys. My bad. So Gervonta Davis, was in a relatively competitive fight with Rolly Romero. Neither fighter was winning the entire fight up until the knockout. It was, rounds were swinging in, favor of either Gervonta Davis or Rolly Romero. Do you really believe that if this guy is boxing a competitive fight with Rolly Romero, he's going to have the skills to keep up with Shakur Stevenson? I mean, you're having a laugh. Have you guys seen Shakur Stevenson's fights? The guy doesn't even give up a round. Look at his fight against Oscar Valdez, against Jamel Herring. His performance against Robson Conceição wasn't as good as his other performances, but he still won almost every single minute of every single round. For me, Shakur Stevenson's skills are just on another level, and they're only matched by Devin Haney. For me, that's the real fight. It's going to come down to Haney and Shakur Stevenson. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll say, you know what, I got it wrong, and I'll give full credit to Gervonta Tank Davis. But I just feel as that Tank Davis is getting caught up, in the hype of being, I'm a big puncher. It's not always about being a big puncher in boxing. Who was the bigger puncher, Muhammad Ali or George Foreman? Definitely George Foreman. Who was the bigger puncher, Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder? I mean, are you even serious? Is that even a genuine question? Obviously Deontay Wilder. Who was the bigger puncher, Canelo Alvarez or Floyd Mayweather? Canelo Alvarez. But all of those guys who were the bigger punchers, who even had the size advantage, they all lost to the more skillful fighter. At the end of the day, skills pay the bills in boxing. And Shakur's footwork, his distance, his timing, his accuracy, how economical he is, because Shakur Stevenson doesn't like to waste punches. He throws with the intent of landing, and he normally lands more times than not. And he barely gets hit clean, especially to the head. So we need to be sensible and look at history and be boxing historians. Now, I'm not saying Tank Davis doesn't have any skills. That's definitely not true. Tank Davis is a tremendous talent, but his skills just are not on the level of Shakur Stevenson. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty obvious thing to see. I don't personally feel like that is a crazy statement, but I feel like people sometimes underestimate the importance of having the fundamental skills. And Shakur has also got excellent hand-to-eye coordination. if you look at the Jamel Herring fight, there was one instance where Shakur caught a punch on the inside with his left hand, and then he came back with a counter and hit Jamel Herring clean. The speed that requires, the coordination, to pull a move like that off, that takes a lot of skill. So yeah, guys, those were just my thoughts on, Gervonta Tank Davis saying, well, how is Shakur going to deal with, the power at 135 pounds? And there is one question, over Shakur Stevenson, maybe even two questions, that are hanging over his head at this point in his career. First, it's discipline. Does he lack discipline? He failed to make weight. He didn't even try to make weight in his last fight. So maybe there is a discipline issue. And remember, I'm just reaching here. This is just me trying to be objective and, trying to play, what's it they call it, devil's advocate, where you're kind of being neutral and, trying to give points in both fighters' direction. And also another issue with Shakur, or a potential issue, is we don't really know how good Shakur Stevenson's chin is. As good as his defense is, eventually he will get cracked by someone who is a big puncher, and we need to see how he reacts. We've seen Devin Haney, he got cracked by Jorge Linares, and he responded pretty well in my opinion. He showed a decent chin, definitely not a bad chin, as some people make it out to be, but he didn't show a granite jaw, but he did get hit very clean, and it's hard to show a triple G jaw. How many guys have as good as a jaw as, Gennady Golovkin? Not many. Whereas, even Floyd Mayweather, for example, he was an amazing defensive fighter. He still got cracked by Sugar Shane Mosley and Zab Judah. So I suspect that Shakur Stevenson will have a moment or two, maybe even 3 or 4 in his career, where he gets hit clean on the chin, and we're going to see how he responds. But I believe he'll recover. Even if he does get dropped, he is so skilled that he'll probably win every other round of the fight. But it's like, will he be able to recover? Will he have the heart? When the going gets rough, will he quit? We don't really know that about Shakur Stevenson. It's too early to tell. He's never been put in that position, but that has occurred because of his tremendous defensive skills and just his overall boxing skills in general. So yeah, those were my 2 cents on Gervonta Tank Davis, kind of playing off Shakur Stevenson, saying, well, he hasn't had a fight at 135 pounds and, how's he going to deal with the power and so on and so forth. All right, guys, do you agree? Do you disagree with me? And remember, try to be objective. Don't be a fanboy. I like both Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. I just favor Shakur Stevenson in a fight because of his skill sets. All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Peace.